please welcome host of War Room, Steve Bannon.
You know, I'd like to be able to report that we're just in a crisis or there's a crisis coming, but that's not the case. There's no longer a gathering storm. The storm is here. The storm is here. This is the most dangerous time in world history since the late 1930s, early 1940s. And how did we get here? Our betters, our elites led us here step by step by step. What you have now is you have two converging crises. A crisis of capital markets and economics, and a crisis of geopolitical and military. And they're converging very rapidly, and then they're going to conflate. And once they conflate, they're going to spin out of control. And it's anybody's bet. Now remember, we came off of, on 3 November of 2020, 4 years of peace and prosperity. The interest rate, the 10-year Treasury in the evening of 3 November, when Fox News illegitimately called it for the opposition and not Donald J. Trump, of which our nation has never recovered, the interest rate of 10-year Treasury was 0.8%. 0.8%. Today, for the first time, and God knows when, the entire structure of our interest rates from 1-month Treasuries to 30-year Treasuries went over 4%. Do you understand that the system is set up of debt? It cannot take those type of interest rates. You will be absolutely crushed, and the people crushed the most are the millennials that now have $9 trillion of debt. They are going to be Russian serfs. They're not going to own anything with no possibility of owning anything. Professor Rubini just told us about the financial aspects of it. We're going to have recession, inflation, stagflation, depression, debt crisis. Dr. Doom, who called 2008, said it's only going to get worse because the world's got $300 trillion of debt. Now let's talk about the United States, right? What do we have? $32 trillion of debt? That's nothing. The CBO reports you're going to have another $20 trillion of debt in 10 years. You're going to be paying $1 trillion a year in interest payments. It's not sustainable. Who got us here? Well, Joe Biden, yeah, but he got here because of the compromise made by the establishment Republicans in the Senate. They took away the gavel from you. What are they doing right now? You need dramatic cuts. You need dramatic cuts in spending right now, and not one penny increase to the debt ceiling, not one penny. If you prioritize the payments, there's plenty of cash. The cash comes in, we pay off the interest. We pay off any securities that come due. We never default in the debt ever. We pay off Social Security and Medicare. And then we have to have a conversation, right? We have to have a conversation. It's not an easy conversation. All the easy decisions of decades ago. Now, on top of that, this converges, right? This converges on the geopolitical situation. Look what happened since Trump left office. You have the Ayatollahs in Iran, right? Tell us how safe do our allies in Israel feel right now? How safe do they feel? Ayatollahs going to Beijing, having a military ceremony, going to bring Xi to Tehran. You got the merger of the KGB and the CCP. You've got Erdogan. You have our great allies in Saudi Arabia already taking and transferring oil to Chinese currency away from the US dollar. You have North Korea and the radical jihadis in Pakistan. You have a convergence on the Eurasian landmass. And what are we doing? We're turning over our foreign policy to Zelensky to let him determine whether he's going to go take Crimea or not. In all of this convergence, where's Merrick Garland today? Is Merrick Garland at DOJ trying to arrest all the infiltration by the Chinese Communist Party in this country? Is he at DOJ helping Ray say, oh, well, they won't help us on the Wuhan lab? You know, maybe we need help. He's in Ukraine. He's in Ukraine. Yellen goes to Ukraine. She doesn't go to East Palestine, Ohio. She goes to Ukraine. The convergence of these two crises is going to lead us into a third world war. A third world war that are not only going to wipe you out economically and financially in this country, more important, your sons and daughters are going to die on foreign battlefields. Are you prepared for that? Do you support that? I can't hear you. Do you support it or not? Because if you don't stand up and fight it, it's going to happen. You can't put all this just on Donald J. Trump. This has to be the American people. You underwrite the entire system. Are you prepared to fight back? Are you prepared to sit down and just take it? The elites say you're too stupid, you're too lazy, and you're too disconnected watching television and watching the bread and circus of modern culture to care. Is that true? Are you sure? Because you underwrite the whole system. The neoliberal neocon system globally is underwritten by you. Your taxes, your pension money, the insurance money, and most importantly, your sons and daughters. You're the one that can tell Congress, hey, not one increase in the debt ceiling, and we want to see massive cuts. We want to see massive cuts in spending, and we want to see it now, not next year. Don't give me some happy talk formula. Don't give me some set of mathematics. I want to see real cuts. Now, when you talk about real cuts, and Russell has put it out, the president, Biden's always running around talking about it, $2 trillion in cuts over the next 10 years, I think, in Medicaid. These are going to be tough cuts, okay? Get the woke and weaponization out. Don't think everyone's going to be a fight, a tough fight. But think about it for a second. We have to cut trillions of dollars out of our budget every year to accumulate the trillions of dollars over the next 10 years. Everyone's going to be ugly, right? We're giving $200 billion to Ukraine. We're paying their pensions. We're paying their health care. The people under 35, you have pensions that the government's paying for right now? You do not. You have full health care. You do not. We are underwriting, which Europe will not underwrite. I have no problem at all. If the Ukrainian people want to fight a Slavic war for the Russian-speaking eastern border of Ukraine, and if they want to go to Crimea and take it back, God bless them. And the Europeans are going to pay for it. We've paid enough in the wars in Europe. We're not a European power. We're a Pacific power. I need them on Capitol Hill and at Wall Street in the city of London to hear you. Can I hear you? Are you going to send your sons and daughters to this war? This is a room of veterans, and this is a room of patriots that have served their country. Now, let me tell you where the hard part gets. The hard part gets, we've had the oligarchs on the Republican Party, the big hedge fund guys making $16 billion a year, Ken Griffin and Mitch McConnell and Rupert Murdoch. They have they have told you that Donald J. Trump is not going to be the president of the United States. Don't fall for the primary stuff. You have real good and decent people. Governor DeSantis, Mike Pompeo, Tim Scott. You have Nikki Haley. That's all fine. It's not relevant. We don't have time for on-the-job training for a man that gave us 4 years of peace and prosperity. Show me what Ken Griffin has given us. Show us what Mitch McConnell has given us. Show us what Mitch McConnell has given us. Show us what the Murdochs, a bunch of foreigners, have given us. What have they given this country? Nothing. Donald J. Trump, let me repeat, in a very volatile time in American history, gave us 4 years of peace and prosperity. And you know why? You know why? He put you in the room to make decisions. Out of the room, out of the deal. And Trump now, he put you in the room. He put you at the head of the table. And that's why they hate him. They don't hate him because he's Trump. They hate him because he represents you. He gives you a voice, and he will not back down. Look at Fox News. Look at Fox News. The president announces his, this is historic. A guy gave you 4 years of peace and prosperity, announces he's going to run again after having it stolen in broad daylight, of which they participate in. They cover it live for 20 minutes, and then they say, if there's anything newsworthy, we'll cut back, and they go to some panel and some discussion. Note to Fox senior management, when Donald J. Trump talks, it's newsworthy. What happened in the first week of January? You had Matt Gaetz and Boebert in the Magnificent Six that stood there and put it all on the line. And what did Fox News do? They rolled out Paul Rove and the hack from the Bush administration that got us in this mess and say, we need unity. We need unity. Look, turn. We're not looking for unity. We're looking for victory. We're not looking for compromise. We're looking to save our country. We are not what they mean by unity is you to give up and you to roll over. This is how you get $32 trillion in debt, going to $52 trillion in debt. This is how you get your kid to die on foreign battlefields in Iraq and Afghanistan. And now in Ukraine, that's how you do it, and we're not going to have it anymore. Donald J. Trump is not simply a leader of a political party. He is not a politician. He is a leader of the most powerful political movement in American history. Okay, Murdoch, here's the way it's going to be, brother. You've disrespected Donald J. Trump long enough, okay? He goes to East Palestine and gets the Biden administration. It's a global news event, and you don't cover it live. Is there that much happening on Fox News at 2 in the afternoon that you can't cover him live? He hasn't been on Fox News since he announced for presidency. Let me ask you, any guy that brought peace to the world for 4 years until the Chinese let off a bioweapon, right? Wouldn't you think, to have respect for the audience, you would have him back up here to talk about the geopolitics? If you had respect for people, wouldn't you do that? They don't respect you. Read the depositions. The deposition, they have a fear, a loathing, and contempt for you. And you're the ones that can make changes. The shareholders, if you want your share price to stay up, you need to take action. The first thing you need to do is get rid of Paul Ryan as an independent director. If Paul Ryan's saying if Trump wins, he's not going to go, then you got to get rid of him. The Murdochs immediately have to start covering President Trump. No special deals. Just cover the man. Ask him the tough questions. But we need to hear the voice of Donald J. Trump. Hey, and old man Murdoch, while you're at it, why don't you, no more softball interviews, the guys running against him, and no more infomercials, okay? Play it straight. You play it straight, Donald Trump's going to win the primary, and Donald Trump's going to win the presidency. Let me leave you with what Trump is up against. He's not up against DeSantis or Nikki Haley or Mike Pompeo. He's up against Ken Griffin and Mitch McConnell and Murdoch. Okay? They have deemed if he wins the primary, they're going to work for the Democrats just like they worked for Hillary Clinton. I was there. I can tell you they were in Clinton's camp the entire way. All they are is about money. And the only people can stop them on the face of the earth are you, and you. MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. Remember, Murdoch, you've deemed Trump's not going to be president, but we've deemed that you're not going to have a network. Because we're going to fight you on this side of the wall. If your task and purpose is to take your country back, this country will be saved.